At first, nothing looked wrong. It just looked like life had been switched off. The houses were still standing. The paths were untouched. The fields were not burned. The trees were not broken. There was no lava, no ash, no floodwater, no explosion tearing through the valley. But the people were dead. Children were found near their parents. Families lay inside their homes. Cattle had collapsed in the fields. Birds were on the ground. The villages around Lake Nyos had gone silent in a way no village is ever supposed to be silent. There were no wounds, no blood, no sign that anyone had fought for their life. It looked as if an invisible hand had moved through the valley during the night and simply removed the living. On August 21st, 1986, in the mountains of Cameroon, Lake Nyos killed nearly 1,746 people without fire, without warning, and almost without a sound. And the most terrifying part is that the lake looked peaceful the entire time. Lake Nyos sits inside a volcanic crater, surrounded by green hills, mist, farms, and small villages. From above, it looks almost harmless. A quiet body of water held inside the earth like a secret. People lived around it. Animals grazed near it. Families slept near it. The lake was part of the landscape, part of daily life, part of home. But Lake Nyos was never just a lake. It was a pressure chamber. Deep beneath the water, volcanic carbon dioxide had been leaking upward through the earth. The gas entered the bottom of the lake and dissolved into the deep water. Because the lake was deep, still and layered, the gas did not escape easily. It stayed there. Year after year, the lake held the pressure. The surface gave nothing away. The water did not boil. The hills did not shake. The villagers did not see a warning sign rising from the lake. Life continued above a hidden reservoir of suffocation. Then, one night, something disturbed the balance. It may have been a landslide. It may have been a sudden movement in the water. It may have been a cooling event that forced the deep layers upward. No one knows the exact trigger with perfect certainty. But whatever happened, gas-rich water from the bottom rose toward the surface. And when it reached lower pressure, the carbon dioxide came out all at once. The lake exhaled. A massive cloud of CO2 burst from the water and rolled down the surrounding valleys. Carbon dioxide is heavier than normal air, so it does not rise quickly and disappear. It sinks. It follows the land. It slides downhill like an invisible flood. That night, the gas moved through the villages below Lake Nyos. No one could see it clearly in the darkness. No one could smell it. No one could hear it coming. The air itself became the weapon. Inside the villages, people began to collapse. Some never woke up. Others may have opened their eyes confused, unable to understand why breathing suddenly gave them nothing. Their bodies needed oxygen, but the oxygen had been pushed away. That is what makes Lake Nyos so horrifying. It did not attack the land. It attacked the space between people and their next breath. Imagine waking in the dark and realizing your body will not obey you. You try to inhale, but the air feels empty. You try to stand, but your muscles lose strength. There is no fire to run from, no water rising through the door, no animal, no soldier, no visible enemy. The danger is everywhere. It is in the room. It is outside the window. It is lying over the village like a blanket. By morning, the world around Lake Nyos had become almost impossible to understand. Homes remained untouched, but the people inside them were gone. Cooking areas were still there. Paths were still there. Fields were still there. The lake was still there, calm again, almost innocent. But the sound of life had disappeared. Survivors described waking up into a nightmare. Some had been knocked unconscious and later opened their eyes surrounded by bodies. Others survived because they were on higher ground. That detail matters. Higher ground. A few meters of elevation became the difference between life and death. The gas stayed low, moving through valleys and settlements. People below the gas clouds suffocated. People above it survived. Lake Nyos did not kill evenly. It drew an invisible line through the landscape. Above the line, people breathed. Below the line, the valley became a death chamber. The animals told the same story. Cattle were found dead in large numbers. Birds had fallen. Insects were gone quiet. The gas did not choose humans. It chose anything that depended on oxygen. And that is why the aftermath felt so unnatural. Most disasters leave damage you can understand. A volcanic eruption burns the ground. A flood tears houses apart. An earthquake breaks walls. A landslide buries roads. Even when the destruction is terrible, the evidence makes sense. Lake Nyos left the village standing. It only removed the living. That is the part that stays in your mind. The beds were still there. The walls were still there. The lake was still reflecting the sky. But thousands of people and animals had vanished from the rhythm of life overnight. And then came the question no one wanted to ask. Could it happen again? Because Lake Nyos was not a myth. It was not a curse. It was not magic. It was chemistry. A deep volcanic lake. Gas leaking from below. Still water trapping the pressure. Villages sitting in valleys nearby. Those conditions created one of the deadliest natural suffocation events ever recorded. And those conditions could exist somewhere else. In fact, Lake Nyos was not the first warning. 2 years earlier, another lake in Cameroon, Lake Nyos, released carbon dioxide and killed dozens of people. At the time, people struggled to understand what had happened. The idea that a lake could silently suffocate humans sounded almost impossible. Then Lake Nyos made it undeniable. The lakes were not cursed, they were loaded. After the disaster, scientists realized Lake Nyos still contained dangerous levels of dissolved carbon dioxide. The release had been massive, but the source beneath the lake had not simply disappeared. Gas could continue entering the water from below. So the world had to learn how to make a killer lake breathe safely. Engineers installed degassing pipes into Lake Nyos. These pipes bring deep, gas-rich water upward in a controlled way. As the water rises, carbon dioxide escapes gradually instead of building toward another sudden release. It sounds simple. A pipe in a lake. But the meaning is enormous. It is the difference between a silent pressure chamber and a monitored hazard. Lake Nyos was not defeated. It was managed. And that is an important difference. Because the lake is still there. The hills are still there. The valleys are still there. People still live with the memory of what happened when the water released what it had been hiding. This is Lake Nyos' impact on the modern world. It changed how scientists look at volcanic lakes. Before Nyos, a calm lake did not seem like the kind of place that could kill entire villages overnight. After Nyos, researchers understood that some lakes can store invisible danger beneath beautiful surfaces. Monitoring gas levels, studying lake layers, installing degassing systems, and preparing nearby communities became a matter of survival. Lake Nyos became a warning to the world. A lake does not need waves to be dangerous. It does not need lava. It does not need boiling water. Sometimes all it needs is silence, depth, and time. And that is what makes this disaster different from almost every other natural catastrophe. There was no dramatic moment for most victims, no long escape, no clear enemy, no final view of flames on the horizon. For many, the end may have come in confusion, in darkness, in the few seconds between waking and understanding that the air was no longer air. That is a cruel kind of horror. Because humans are built to recognize danger. We fear teeth. We fear fire. We fear falling rocks, rising water, shaking ground. We trust our senses to tell us when to run. Lake Nyos bypassed the senses. It became dangerous before anyone could recognize danger. The victims did not live beside the lake because they were careless. They lived there because the land was home, because the lake had always been part of the landscape, because beauty often earns trust. And Lake Nyos abused that trust. From the air, it still looks beautiful. A crater lake held among green hills, mist drifting low, water calm, a place that seems quiet enough to forget what happened there. But beauty is not safety. That is the lesson Lake Nyos forced onto the world. The most terrifying places are not always the ones that look like hell. Sometimes they are green, sometimes they are still, sometimes they reflect the clouds and wait for years. And then one night, without flames, without thunder, without a scream from the earth, the lake exhales, and everything below it stops breathing. Next time, we go to California, where a dying lake is quietly building something that shouldn't exist.